Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Uh-huh. Want some candy?
All right. Happy Halloween, candy killers! And if you got a sweet tooth, we have a special treat for you. That's right. This is Oobliette Sparks' very first Crossing the Streams episode, where we will discuss Halloween Kills. That's right, everybody. I am one of the many hosts of Monster Candy Podcast, Screamin E from the Memphis Murdermen, and I am here with Oobliette Sparks, the world's most punk rock keyboardist in the entire world and land and universe.
Or only.
Or
maybe,
only.
Or like
I mean,
a 5.
Yeah, fuck all the other ones, though.
Yeah.
It's you. Yeah, it's you.
Yeah. Whoever they are.
Yeah. Exactly. Who the fuck are they?
Who? I don't know. I don't know.
So this
Who
is your
are they?
This is your first Crossing the Streams. No one's here to thwart our shit talking. No one can stop us from
know.
talking about the lizard people or anything. Balls to the wall.
I know this is the first time we've been alone together. It's weird.
World domination.
It's true.
You know,
It's true.
you
And
guys
man, we
listening
have a
right now.
Doozy of a movie too.
Oh, yes. But first, before we get into how horror news, it was Schroeder,
Uh-oh.
not Linus, who plays the piano. Schroeder plays the piano.
You are correct,
Yeah.
sir.
As soon as we got done, I'm like, I don't think that's right. Linus is like fucking Chuck's little buddy with the blanket. So I had
Yeah.
to look it up. I was like, it's Schroeder. So yeah, Schroeder. But anyway, the only little bit of horror news, because we don't want to get into too much of the way of our shit talking on this movie.
Yeah.
All right. Remember, we talked about the little documentary film about Boris Karloff, and it was the man behind the monster thing. Let me just say,
Mhm.
it's the worst release ever.
Whoa, really?
Like I didn't even know it came out. Like I didn't see anything for it.
Gotcha.
You know, it
Mhm.
had a little bit of like theatrical release, I guess, throughout the country, but nowhere around here. Select. I didn't even see it advertised anywhere. Come on,
I
Karloff.
didn't either. You're the only person I heard talk about it.
Yeah. And I guess you might, I don't even know if it's available through streaming or anything either. Yeah. So I guess that probably could have been a more, what chap screaming his ass segment,
Yeah, it could have.
you know, and it was supposed to be shown. I mean, maybe it was, but on their website, it was supposed to be shown up in Santa Rosa, maybe
Oh, yeah?
at one of the theaters there or somewhere, Petaluma or Santa Rosa, one of the two. So I go and check on that theater's website. Nothing.
No, nothing?
Nothing. Doesn't say anything
Really?
about it. No listing or nothing. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm sure it was great. And I don't know if anyone actually got to see it. So that's that.
Are you sure it's real
I,
at this point?
Oobs in this simulation. I mean, I don't even know anymore. I don't trust anything. If it's on the internet, I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
So there's that. Do you have anything for horror news?
I mean,
Life.
it's kind of horror news. Yeah. I'm having like a Halloween crisis.
Uh-oh.
Crises. Yeah. It's like a chain of events that has turned me into like a bummer of a person, which this is just unlike me.
It is unlike
And
you.
unlike me during this time of the year. I put orange glitter all over my eyes today. I've got little skeletons
In
on
your
my
eyes.
nails.
You're just like, fucking get in there.
Yeah, and I don't wear glitter, man, other than Halloween. I got skulls on my nails. I had a cool, two different perspective, cool Halloween costumes I was gonna wear tomorrow that I kind of pulled out of my butt, but now I'm like, don't even want to dress up. And it's like a weird, I didn't know why, but then I feel like it's this weird chain of events that has like turned this into like a bummer Halloween for me.
I don't think you're
And it's not
alone.
even Halloween.
It does not feel like a very Halloweeny Halloween.
No. And then I looked for stuff around here and there's nothing really, which doesn't really surprise me. But then I saw videos that friends were at the Danny Elfman Nightmare Before Christmas thing and Oingo Boingo thing he does every year that I forgot about. And I keep saying that I'm going to go and then I freaking didn't.
Well, isn't
And now I'm
Billie
pissed.
Eilish and Pee Wee Herman doing some shit too?
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually saw a video and she did really good. I'm not particularly into her style
Right.
of music, but she's a hell of a singer.
Mhm.
And it looked awesome. And then I totally forgot about the horror convention in PA. And that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
week I flew my grandma out here, which was an amazing visit. But I wasn't gonna, when I realized I had done that, I was gonna drag her butt to a horror convention. So then I
Mama.
didn't go. And and so then I saw these pictures of people there having fun. And I'm just not having fun. And I'm trying, I'm drinking out of my old scratch tiki mug that's a devil's head, trying to get in the spirit. And then these movies I keep watching that I get excited about are just real bummers. And I think that is, the whole underlying thing. I've been trying to get in the spirit and I haven't gone to my tried and true. Like I've seen you watching a bunch of yours, like the good ones, and I've been giving a bunch of other stuff a chance. And man, like what is going on? There's some real shit. So this is what's chapping Oob's ass.
Yeah. Well, let's get into that. That was
horror news.
So yeah, let's get into it.
But yeah, so that's my horror news. My horror news is that I need horror to be better and I need to have as much fun as I usually do. And I didn't go to Universal Horror Nights, which I wanted to too. So it's just like.
All right. Let's get into the sad state of horror movies with none other than Halloween Kills. I mean,
yeah. Do you know what the nail in the coffin is? I think I just actually discovered my Halloween bummer source.
Uh-oh.
It all started when I found out that Danny McBride was a part of this movie because I love Danny McBride. And when I say I love Danny McBride, I fucking
great.
love Danny McBride.
He's a part of the last
like
one
my
too,
spirit
but
animal.
he's a producer.
Right.
Right.
But like Eastbound and Down, The Righteous Gemstones, Vice Principals, like I fucking love him.
Gold.
He's so funny. And all this makes me think is that they either need to let him go like all the way and he wasn't allowed to, or I don't know, just the collaboration of the people involved was just whack. It had to have been because this did not translate the way that they wanted it to. There's no fucking way.
At least the way some people say they think they wanted it to, because David Gordon Green did the last one, which I liked. We all liked it. We thought it was good, solid, there's a lot of criticism like, oh, it's fucking like the same thing. Well, yeah, because for the last fucking 25 years, everyone was, getting their panties in a bunch about how all the other ones were fucking terrible and not like the original or whatever. So then they can make this new one that's basically a rehash of the original one, but it had the same vibe to it and good kills and everything. And they delivered on what everyone had been complaining about and wanted, but people are going to complain about anything. But with this one, now I saw Josh Rubin, fucking Werewolves Within and Scare Me. He said something on Twitter about it being, he's like, I don't understand the criticism. Like, I think they fucking nailed it. I'm paraphrasing here, but about how it was basically like they totally nailed the exploitation movie. And, like it was supposed to be, or they tried to make it a straight exploitation type feel movie. And I'm like,
if you
I went
watered
back
it the fuck down.
Right. I went back and watched it again and watched it through the lens of that, like watching a fucking super campy exploitation horror movie. And even that, I felt like they missed the fucking mark if they try to do it that way. Like, to me, it felt like they didn't really know what they wanted, where they wanted to go with it.
No, exactly. And, it actually kind of reminds me, like when we were talking about that movie Malignant, how people like either hated it or really loved it. And I feel like the people who loved it kind of understood the cheese and like some of the things that were more obvious that other people were like, how could they make this? I knew what was going on the whole time.
Right.
I feel like this could have been like that. And I thought that that's what it was. Like when I read people posting online all their opinions, I was like, oh, they probably went like super cheesy old school horror, and people are like thinking it's a dumb movie without a lot of a plot or whatever. So I kind of went into it pretty open-minded, and even hearing everyone kind of criticize how many times they say evil dies tonight and stuff like this, I was like, well, maybe they're trying to make it super cheesy and over the top. And like when the opening scenes started and I saw some of the actors involved in that and everything, I was like, okay, this could actually be like super kind of cheesy and over the top. And then very quickly, I felt like it just completely missed the mark. And honestly, it was like I could barely pay attention to it. I started playing my Nintendo about 10 minutes into it just because I was like, I can do both. I'm not going to really miss much.
I stayed away from reading too many reviews. I just saw people be like, oh my God, I fucking love it. It's great. And then other people were like, this movie fucking sucked. So that's about all any information I went into it with. So I went to see it in the theater with my buddy. Shout out to Boomer. And it was awesome because we were basically just Mystery Science Theater 3000. We were the only people in there. We went to a matinee. So like we could actually talk and, comment on the movie as it's happening. And both of us the whole time were like, what the fuck? Because you get these actors, fucking Anthony Michael Hall, and it had a lot of good things. Like
even bringing back Kyle Richards. I mean, it was silly, but she was the original babysitter or whatever, and
original actors in it. And I was like, dude, that's pretty fucking cool.
They could have really kind of exploited the cheesiness more if they wanted to go that way. Yeah.
I feel like, see, the way a lot of people were explaining the exploitation thing, it was like, oh yeah, and again, kind of condescendingly, because it's like, oh, well, if you don't get it, then you're fucking clueless. It's like, no. You saw what they were doing, but they didn't go for it. You either have to go for it or don't go for it.
This to me was like, I don't know, like they weren't trying to throw back to some of the original movies, and like especially the original exploitation movies.
No,
it was dumbed down enough. At most, it might have been a throwback to like a 90s teen slasher, but even then they missed the mark.
Because it's like,
but it had that 90s feel to me, which was like, why do that with a Halloween movie when there were Halloweens and then like before that going through.
Exactly. And it's such a weird flex to go from the 2018 one with the same fucking director to, okay, we're going to totally swerve and try and make this campy fucking thing. It's like, but you already set the precedent for what these next two movies are going to be. So what are you doing? Stick with it or don't.
Right. And like even reading them and their idea for it, I guess there's another one coming that they wanted to film this one and that one, right back to back. And but I don't know. And they say this, is a direct continuation or sequel from that one, but the tone is completely different.
Yeah. It's like even within this movie, it's like two different movies are going on.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but like, why the fuck even bring Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie? Like, that was the biggest waste of money. God knows what they paid her to be in it, but they could have just CGI'd her likeness and it wouldn't have mattered because that was a letdown for me. It was like,
well, like I said, there's so many things to talk about, but all right, let me just get this out of the way.
It's just like why?
Right. But
the whole movie, I was just like, what?
Big John and Little John were the best characters in the whole fucking movie. Michael McDonald was hilarious on Mad TV.
Yeah.
And he was good in this. And it's just like, you want to make it cheesy and campy, and you bring these, like a couple like that in. And they're hilarious without being too hilarious, like trying to be, which is good. It's kind of what you want, You want it to be subtle. Like, that's what I feel like is missing with a lot of horror movies and just movies in general. Like, just being subtle with the stuff you want to do. And it goes a lot further. But this, if you want to make a super fucking campy movie and exploitation but it's not like Blood-Sucking Freaks or fucking The Last House on the Left where there's funny stuff in it, but
they're awful. They're just like dark and Last House on the Left is just super dark. No matter how you paint it, that's like
right. So it's
every little bit of happiness that could be in that movie, they make sure they suck it right out of your soul.
Right. And it's like I said, even with those movies, the entire movie is just ridiculous from the jump. It's a ridiculous movie. Totally.
Yeah.
So anything that's ridiculous that happens within it fits the movie. This one, it's like serious, but then they'll fucking make this left turn to where, evil dies tonight, or Anthony Michael Hall being given some stupid speech with terrible dialogue.
So he was like the worst, like roided out, weird character ever. And yes, and of course, the people who are trying to say it's like an exploitation film, they're going to go, of course, he's like
it's supposed to be acting bad,
male, over the top, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, but you could do it so much better. Put Danny McBride in that fucking role and let him say and do whatever he wanted. That would be a movie.
If Danny McBride
played that part, done.
I told somebody, I was like, dude, if this was like an episode of Eastbound and Down or like the Vice Principals, if you did it like that, dude, this movie would be the next Evil Dead 2.
Good.
Like, it would have been so fucking great. But it's not what they wanted to do, or it's not what they did.
Well, and I think that's the problem is that, and you see this with branding a lot, when different people come into these existing brands and, you have certain people that want to stay completely true to it. You have other people that want to show their vision. I really think that they had talented people on board with this movie, but I think that they were trying too hard to think about what would be on brand and not being themselves. And they should have been like let out of their cage to just like go crazy. Because I do think that the talent is there, and especially with Danny McBride, like you said, if this would have been like any of his other projects, that would have been a movie I've been waiting to see and want to see in this genre, and that there's a huge lack of right now.
And then I guess
that's why it's even more sad.
Right. I guess you can make an argument that they are following Raimi's like trilogy where it's Evil Dead, it's the serious movie, and then Evil Dead 2 is just the fucking slapstick, fucking horror movie, and then Army of Darkness is whatever, but
yeah. Dogs are mad about
werewolves.
it too.
It's spooky Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah, like I don't get it. Like, pick a lane and go with it. because the first one was a good, solid throwback. And I feel like biggest issue with horror movies nowadays, they're too much. They try and do too much. The best horror movies work well, and me and Dom have discussed this a bunch of times on some earlier podcasts about it. The scariest thing is that fucking isolation factor. You know, there's not too much going on. It's like, oh shit, everything's just confined to this area. But then you got like all these players in this town. Like you said, it's like a throwback. It was a throwback to one of the 90s Halloweens.
Right.
Where it's like,
and not even like a good one. It was just, I don't know what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
it was disappointing.
It was disappointing. And it's like, makes me upset and very disappointed because there was good stuff in there. Like Tommy Doyle, that angle could have been amazing.
Oh, totally.
Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, she's in the hospital and, her family's like, whatever, while all this stuff is going, Tommy Doyle comes in and is like, we're going to get him. And then have it be a Tommy Doyle story.
I mean, it would literally be like making an alien movie and having Sigourney Weaver in a fucking just a bed the whole time.
Right. Yeah, it was disappointing.
Like they've aged that character and had her do less, or kind of like adapted it, but it was just, I don't know. That was just like a throwaway.
Well, and too,
in it really.
Like the 2018 one, there was a lot of shit going on. Like a lot of people getting killed and all this stuff was going on. And this one's supposed to be taking place simultaneously. But like no one knows anything. They're just like, oh yeah. Oh, there's a fire.
No, yeah.
Like I'm like, wait, what? I feel like a lot more people knew
weird.
what was going on while all this shit was happening in the last one.
Yeah.
So that was weird to me. The whole cop subplot, I didn't kill him when I had the chance and this and that. Like that was a weird side plot. I felt like, who cares? Like
it was like they wanted to attach you to these characters that were like
secondary.
You didn't even care about. And then, I mean, there was like some small things that I thought were kind of cool. Like in the original, when they go in the house, like they allude to a half-eaten dog in the Myers house. And in this movie, they actually like, show that. Not that I want to see a half-eaten dog, but I thought like there were some cool details and small nods, but it was like they just missed the point so much. And the flashbacks looked like shit.
Yeah.
Like they didn't look like they were flashbacks.
Yeah. Literally the whole...
just looked like they were another scene of the same time period. It was weird.
The whole backstory on the police officer could have been just a flashback for like a minute in the movie. And you could have got it. Oh, he went to fucking kill him and he didn't. And then that was it, but they spent way too much time dealing with that. And let me just say, Lonnie should have fucking fought those little girls. They were such little cunts.
Such bitches. Dude, I hate scenes like that. There's certain like scenes in movies that I can't take, and like shit like that. Kids acting like that. And then the movies where everyone else knows what's going on except for the main character and like their best friend or someone close to them is lying, and it just pisses me right off. Those are like the two things in movies that when it's happening, I just want to jump through the screen and punch somebody in their throat.
No,
But yeah, those little girls, the whole time I was just like, oh, somebody needs to just beat one of their asses.
Right? I'm like, fucking Lonnie, just get up and hit her. Like, she's such a little bitch.
Yeah, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, they're kids. Whatever. You're allowed.
The worst they do is kick her ass more. If they're already treating you like shit, you might as well go down swinging.
Yeah, seriously. Fucking Lonnie. But aside from that, oh man, it's the worst part about this movie.
It wasn't scary either.
No, It's
It wasn't
frustrating.
even suspenseful.
There's no
Almost
suspense.
every Halloween, I'm a wuss with horror movies. Almost every one, there's been like at least, even if it's cheesy, like one part that I'm like, ooh, where's he gonna pop out of, or what's gonna happen? This one was really just like slow, dumb moving guy with knife walking towards you,
Yeah.
which he always kind of had that thing, but like him getting to the person was always creepier. This was like,
Yeah, it was.
it's like they just, I don't know, like he wasn't scary, it wasn't freaky, it was weird.
The lack of suspense just made him more human.
More human and more dopey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You're like, oh, it's just
it
this guy. Okay.
yeah, like the greatest thing, when you look at like Michael Myers and Jason, those sorts of characters, they weren't necessarily these like small, fast, or like I don't know,
Right.
appear out of nowhere completely. They were always kind of like
But it was an impending doom.
Yeah, it was
where,
like
like, you didn't-
methodical moving at
Yeah.
you, but you knew shit was about to happen, and they
You
would
just didn't know
find
where
a
it was going
way
to come
to,
from necessarily. So you're like, oh shit.
Exactly.
Oh, that gets me.
but they would
Yeah.
like find a way to get to you no matter what. This, like, especially the scene in the house with the daughter, I'm just like, I feel like anyone could have avoided that staircase scene.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching it and I knew where it was going to go because
Right. Obviously.
they let it up. But I'm just sitting there like, okay, there's always the dumb tropes of running up the stairs instead of down the stairs and this and that. But that whole neck breaking scene, I was just like, this is really easily avoidable, guys. Like,
Yep.
very easily avoidable.
Well,
And your reaction to this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
I mean, even her daughter, Laurie Strode's daughter, going back into the house. Oh, I see a little kid in a clown suit up there. I'm just mesmerized and go back up. It's like, what?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. And when she sat there when like he broke the kid's neck and like sat there, she didn't go to help or to stop.
Come
and
get
she's
me,
slowly
motherfucker.
watching what's about to happen, knowing what's going to happen. It's like, if you know that's going to happen, just run. Like, if you're not going to help, run. Why would you stand there and slowly watch someone snap someone's? It was just like, it's shit like that. And I know horror movies have that occasionally, but the reactions in a lot of these scenes were just like so boring.
Well, I mean, all right,
like not even a really good like murderous scream or like
no
scared
so
scream
much.
or like if you're gonna go campy, there should be like maniacal B-movie screams through the whole thing. Like everything was so watered down and tame.
Facts.
It was like going through the motions, but like not interesting.
No, that's the thing about this movie. It wasn't really interesting, and the lack of suspense didn't make it scary.
And the stupid
it's just,
bait and switch.
Yeah.
That was like,
but pointless.
Why? It's so dumb.
Like I guess. I mean, obviously, he's one of the escaped inmates from the first one, but again, it's like, well, who cares? Like, at this point, who cares? But again, it's that they were making the social commentary. Oh my God, mobs. We attack, clickbait. We go after people without even knowing what the fuck is true. And then, oh no, they were innocent. It's like, okay.
Well, and the whole, like, we've become the monsters thing.
Yeah.
We think that we're just, innocent bystanders trying to protect people. And now we're the murderers too.
Yeah.
So who's really the bad guy?
Yeah.
Us or them? Which I do think was
the lizard people. They're the bad guys.
Thing in this movie that they wanted that to be a big takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna do that, then don't be campy.
Right.
If you're gonna do that, don't be over the top. Don't make stereotypical people in different categories act over the top. Make these seem like real, genuine people, so we develop feelings for them, and then make them kill someone. So then we're like, fuck, man, we really like these people, but now they're murderers.
Yeah, and there was no
like.
You didn't get
never
invested.
Liked them. Why do you care?
Yeah, you didn't get
Like,
invested in
I
any
didn't
of the
fucking like any of those people.
newer characters. I mean, except for Big John and Little
Right.
John because they were funny.
Yeah. No,
But
totally. But like Anthony Michael Hall and some of the other ones, it's like, yeah, they were douches through the whole movie. I'm sure that they were idiots and stomped in the head of the wrong,
right.
it's not surprising or thought provoking. That is what dumb people do
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
they're
it's
dumb.
so frustrating because there's things that could have been. There's potential. This movie
Awesome.
had potential.
Yeah.
You just,
Even with its cast, like
Yeah.
the cast they had and the writers and everybody they had with this group without changing a thing, I think it could have been 10 times better.
100%. Well, I mean, okay. I mean, Anthony Michael Hall's not fucking, Robert De Niro or whatever,
No.
but he was
For
obviously
this level of movie,
right. He was obviously told, okay, you got to really like make this fucking ridiculous and whatever, here's your dialogue, camp it up. And he did.
to me, someone like Anthony Michael Hall, you don't have to tell him to camp it up.
Right.
Give him the role and he would probably, lean that way anyway. But if you tell someone like that to make it campy, this is what you're going to get.
Should have been Nick Cage.
I mean, have you seen the pictures of him in his new role?
Well, which one?
He shaved his gorgeous hair.
Oh, no, I didn't. Interesting.
Yeah, he's bald now.
Wow. What does he still have? I'll have to go look at it because I can only imagine.
Check it out. Because now the news on my phone gives me all Nick Cage.
All Nick Cage.
Because
That's
of the
awesome.
couple research. Yeah. A couple times I researched him for Caged episodes.
He gets fucking updated.
If you need to know anything about him, I know. Him and
He's
his wife just got their first magazine cover. I should have said that in horror news. That's some horror news.
That is pretty scary.
Mhm.
Yeah, and let's talk about one of the end scenes where the townspeople get him surrounded. They just beat him down. First of all, I beat my dick harder than they did to Michael Myers.
I know.
And it's like, you guys were just so fucking amped up about, we're going to get him. And you basically just beat him with some sticks and shot him a couple times. Like, rip him apart. How do you not completely dismember this man? Right. But they didn't. And I mean, I get it because you got to keep it going for the next one. But
but he's been terrorizing you for how long?
Yeah. There's no reason that they didn't just completely destroy his body.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
so
he gets up.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was going to say, yeah. And then, of course, he gets up and fucking just mauls, 20 people. Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah.
And I just find it funny, too, that, all these people thought it was a good idea to hang out in one room together on the night of which Michael Myers usually shows up to kill people.
Right. I mean, it's like shooting
maybe
ducks in a
have
barrel.
a survivor memorial party that doesn't have to be on the anniversary of him potentially coming back to kill you all.
Yeah. Well,
just a thought.
There's a lot of thoughts with this movie. I will say, though, I do like James Jude Courtney as the Shape. I think he does really good. Not that there's a whole lot of acting, but involved. But I like how he
moves.
Yeah. So there's that. And again, I like the callbacks this movie had. I like the bringing back the characters. But man, like if you're going to be a campy movie, be a campy movie. That balance has to be more camp than seriousness. And this movie was like more seriousness, but we're going to put in some like super weird dialogue and over the top acting out of nowhere, which to me, I'm like, it kills the mood. It's like a total boner killer.
No, totally.
You're like, okay, okay, we're this season, and then some fucking random shit, and you're like, wait, the fuck just happened?
I really think that this is like this was the start of Courtney's bummer Halloween. We kept talking about what episode we should do for Halloween, and then I was way before Halloween, then I was getting into the Halloween spirit, and then I watched this fucking piece of shit, and it just started this like boulder rolling down a hill of not fun Halloweenness.
Yeah. I don't
It's not even
disagree
a word.
because I just feel like at this point Hollywood, the majority of it, because there's still some independent things that come out, like The Dark and the Wicked. Was a fucking great movie.
So good. That
You know,
makes me happy.
right?
Maybe I should watch that tonight.
There's things that come up. I mean, even Josh Rubin's Werewolves Within is good. You know,
Totally fun.
fucking Willy's Wonderland. Like, there's good shit. There's still good campy movie
Yeah.
that could be serious. That's how you do an exploitation movie.
I liked The Hunt. I liked Ready or Not.
You know, so it happens, but
and
as a
I
whole,
even like movies that are trying to, like, some of the ones with political messages. Like I liked what was it, Promising Young Woman?
I didn't see it, but yes,
Oh, you should see it.
I'll check it out.
I mean, it definitely, you know, is like political commentary on social or on sexual assault,
Right.
but I liked it like that. That one I liked. It's just, it's weird. I feel like people are overthinking things too much, and they're really trying to stay in this box or trying to make sure it's safe.
They're definitely trying to stay in a weird bubble. Like, hey, instead of just, and I feel like the criticism's too much of the last one. Like, oh, it's just like a rehash. Like, we already saw this movie, blah, 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 which is initially what everyone wanted. But I feel like he's like, okay, so I have to make this one different. Like, it's got to be. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't, because it'd be a way better.
So
movie
look at something like frickin' Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the second set of 3 that came out, everyone was like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Because they, like, you know, obviously it wasn't like, and then you like any of them, and then you saw these recent ones and they tried to stay true to it, which people completely loved. But yeah, it's the same. Like, the last 3 is the same fucking story as the first 3, just with different people.
Yeah,
there's nothing to me when I saw those, and I didn't hate them. I think they're good, but like, it's the same shit. But that's what you expect. Like,
right. Yeah, because we just
want to see Luke Skywalker with a fucking lightsaber.
Right.
That's what you've loved your whole life.
Everyone was complaining for like 15 years for all the other shitty ones. They're like, oh my God. Blah, blah, blah. And then, but I mean, people are never going to be happy no matter what.
No.
But, yeah.
Definitely. But this is, it just, it's weird. It doesn't fall in with any of the other ones to me, other than possibly that, what was it, H2O?
Yeah.
But even that one, I felt like, even though it was very 90s-ish in the execution, like, that's a watchable movie. There was suspenseful parts, like there was a storyline that fit that kind of horror movie. Like,
right.
This one, it seemed like they just tried to take these weird side stories from everything, and tried to find like a character that, like, no matter who you are, that you would like at least one of the characters. It was like, we're just going to try to have like every different kind of character ever, and hopefully somebody can relate to them. So at the end of this movie, they feel something for it. But for me, I was like, I don't know what to pay attention to.
Yeah.
So it made me just not pay attention.
It's not how a horror movie works best. You should only focus on like a small group of the people, and that's it. Like, I don't care about everyone's fucking backstory. You don't have to tell me.
Like, stuff that, like, the greats, when you think of these, Friday the 13th, like, all this stuff, they're linear movies.
Yeah.
Now there can be flashbacks, but in the grand scheme of things, if you were to just like map them out, they're very linear. This one, to me, even in the beginning, jumped so much that's when I was just like, the cheesiness with it jumping so much, trying to be witty, but not witty. That's when, like, I stopped kind of paying attention, because I was like, is this going to be fun, or am I going to have to pay attention because they keep flashing back? Or why are we talking about this person now? Is Michael Myers even in this movie? Like, it was just,
it's too much.
So misplaced, like, and so much stuff.
It's like an information overload for a storyline that's way too simple for it.
And there's no release. Like, the best thing about these character arcs and, introducing other characters and other storylines is, like, some sort of resolution, or like something cool.
Right.
But the end wasn't cool.
No.
and like he's coming back.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the
So
thing that sucks, because
keep that in mind, like when
they
you're
already-
making these stories.
Fucking
we
spilled the
know.
beans that, okay, there's a third one. So you're just like, okay,
Right.
oh, wait, they all got him. Well, he's obviously going to get away.
Right. So keep that in mind in your writing, because that ending, it seems like they weren't thinking about that. So
Yeah, no,
like, I don't know. It was just, the whole thing seemed like an incomplete thought, or it seemed like
it did. It
10
felt like they
different people
gave up a
wrote
little
it
bit.
and they just put it together.
Mm-hmm. We're like, oh man, this is exhausting. So you just want to bring him back at this part?
You know what this is? Did you ever play that game where they would have somebody write a sentence and you would hand it to the next person and you'd continue a story?
Yeah. Or like telephone, like you tell a person the thing in their ear and it goes around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But like in English class, we used to do it sometimes, like you could write a paragraph and then you
Mhm.
hand it to the next person. And sometimes it would come out like these cool stories, but 9 times out of 10, it would be this mishmash of crap. And every time you felt like you were connecting or like liking something, it would just change.
Right.
And that's exactly how this movie is. Like any scene, even with some of the likable characters, it was like the second you got into it, all of a sudden you're like, what? Wait, why are we talking about this character now? What's going on? Like, you just couldn't focus and like let the good in this movie have more screen time. They just wanted to like give everybody equal parts, so you didn't really like anybody.
Just piling on shit on top of shit and on top of shit, and then being like, okay, everyone kind of figure it out. Like, this is not why I'm watching this fucking movie, man.
No, it's supposed to be simple, fun.
And scary,
I need like
or suspenseful
5 characters in the movie, not like 30.
Yeah.
And it was too much.
It was too much. And I 100% agree with you. It's like, I don't know if they're really trying to like,
it is
sad.
sad.
I don't know if they're trying to.
There's so many like not great movies in this series, but all of them are so much better than this.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if they're
Like,
trying to reboot the entire series, and make 5 more, like the way Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street did with Freddy, but it's like, and get campier and kind of whatever, but it's like, okay, Michael Myers is not the character to do that with. Like, are you gonna have him fucking start soft shoeing or something like out of nowhere?
Right.
It's like, you can't do that with him. He can't be witty and like make wisecracks or do funny, you know what I mean? Like, he does kind of do like some funny kills, kind of like Jason, but
I think that people need to realize that those movies in the 80s with these really strong like bad guys that are kind of the lead, or the focus of the movie,
right?
They, Freddy had his taglines that were cheesy. Like, there was always cheesy stuff in those movies, but they were also, they were scary. And like the funny stuff allowed you to take a little break from kind of being like, freaked out a little bit. And then they were so good at coming back after something funny and doing something horrible. And like, the only movie I feel like did that pretty well after the 80s was the first Scream.
Right.
Like, they had enough shocking kills, but really campy, stupid shit that it was great. And like, I mean, that opening scene I saw in the theater, and that scared the shit out of me.
Oh yeah.
Like, that was awesome. And like, they can never recreate that because obviously,
honestly, I mean, and I like Scream.
So smart.
But that opening scene with Drew Barrymore and all that, probably one of the best opening scenes in a movie, in a horror movie ever. It was
I
really
would even
good.
say a movie. Like,
or a movie. Yeah.
The fact that they kept a secret that she was only in the movie for that short a time, so people really thought, and she was like, on the posters and everything, is pretty much the main character. Like, it was brilliant. my jaw hit the fucking floor when they killed her. When
Right.
she's hanging from that tree and her parents are like rolling up to the house, like
Yeah.
that is the stuff that the stories that people tell you when you're growing up, those tall tale, like or the urban legends of nightmares. And like, I don't know. But it was still a funny movie and super, super over the top campy.
Right.
And I feel like these newer movies are trying to hit that mark of, some of the old ones, and they just don't know how to do it. So they just miss it so far off that it doesn't seem like a complete thought.
Yeah, it's almost like every character camps it up too much, whereas the balance was like with Scream, like you had the kind of serious ones, fucking Sydney and her boyfriend, like they're all
She was like a super downer all the time,
right, and then you have Jamie
given she
Kennedy,
was
who's
also-
like the fucking goofy dude.
who loves
You know
horror
what I mean?
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
totally.
it worked, and then David Arquette in there too, but like this one, everyone had their little moment of like, oh, I gotta camp it up. I'm like, no, you don't.
But there was no character, like the character development fell so flat. You couldn't relate to any of them.
Right. And it's like, even with the Friday the 13th ones, and Jason gets campier and funnier and stuff like that. And he has brutal kills. But
oh yeah,
they were always still kind of funny. I mean, like
this
after
one didn't even have any real brutal kills other than the staircase, but that wasn't even
right. But it's like with Michael Myers, not a lot of his kills were ever, I mean, maybe not the 90s ones, but he was always just like a killing machine. There wasn't a lot of emotion in it.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
right.
You'd have the other people doing their thing, and then here he would come and just fucking it'd be brutal, just fucking murder. Ugh.
Yeah.
And then that's it, no emotion, which differs from Jason because there's, after like the fourth one, he started getting more emotion in him. And I'm like,
right.
If you're trying to do that with Michael Myers, you should have done it. And
well,
from
that
the
was
beginning.
like what Rob Zombie tried to do with him.
Right.
I thought way more. Was like telling you who he was, and this whole, which
right.
I mean they have in the other movies, but I feel like he tried to go more that route.
Compared to the first one, man, like the 2018, it's sucks so much because that first one, I'm like,
yeah,
like the bathroom scene when there's the gas station, and he's just destroying the couple, the news people or the investigators or whatever. And then this one, it's just like, dude, almost everything was a disappointment.
No, it was a disappointment, and I'm admitting that pretty early on, I didn't completely tap out, but I wasn't giving it as full of attention as I should have because it just didn't have a focus to me. And I like watching bad movies. I watch bad movies all the time, but like it just seemed, yeah.
Well, there's bad movies,
a bummer,
that are bad and they don't try, but they end up being cult classics or whatever, You're like, okay, and there's ones that are like, we're just gonna, like Evil Dead, okay, we're gonna make this fucking ridiculous movie.
Of course.
And if you're expecting a serious movie, you're gonna be totally disappointed.
Yeah.
That work. But this one, it, like we said,
didn't know what it wanted to be.
Didn't know. And it was just like, okay, well, maybe we'll do this thing here. It's like,
but they were given all the tools and they were given all of the money to make this a good movie, which is why it's like adding insult to injury. It's not like some struggling new director that had no backing and a bunch of, unknown people. Like, yeah, there's some, B and D list actors in it, but they had more than capable casts to make a really great movie, more than capable writers, more than capable director, and more than capable pool of money to make this cool.
Well, DGG.
And it wasn't visually cool. It wasn't mentally cool. It wasn't
no, cool. No. DGG had, like you said, everything at his hands to fucking create a good movie, especially since he already did. But it's like, dude, how are you gonna make this fucking left-hand turn and try and like recreate this whole thing when you already set the precedent for how these next few movies are going to play out, or at least that's how you thought, how was implied anyway. Yeah, this isn't fucking reinventing
All
the
I
wheel,
know is
but
they
it's
better bring Danny McBride in the next one, or I'm not watching it. So
yeah.
you can
I mean,
save it.
if they're gonna go fucking Camp City, yeah, man, then just fucking go all the way and make it hilarious,
Right.
But I don't know if they will. I think they're just gonna try and do this thing again, and then you're gonna have the
Which
same
is
result.
stupid. They need to get Danny McBride, John Goodman, and Walton Goggins
Yes,
and tell them to do the next Halloween.
yes.
And I would be so on board with anything those three could do.
Goggins should be in
Righteous
every
Jim says
everything.
they were so good. Oh, I love him so much. He cracks me up. Like
Vice
I
Principals.
always liked him, but yeah, Vice Principals,
So good.
he's so good. The comedic writing, the timing. God, why couldn't this movie be like that?
Yeah, man. Like if you're gonna go that direction, just fucking go big or go home. You can't baby step with this.
Yeah.
Especially if you're gonna have a budget like this.
Mm-hmm.
If it was like,
Yeah.
all took place in like one room or a super small, intimate kind of thing, maybe it could have worked out a little better, because they would have had to
Sure.
build up that anxiety of being trapped more. But when you have a budget like this, yeah, you got to go Vice Principals. If you're gonna camp it up, you got to go Evil Dead 2 and just Army of Darkness and just make it fucking ridiculous. If that's what you're gonna try and do, or try and like,
Yeah. And
be
was it
subtle and
rated
do it.
R, right?
Yeah.
So then why were they holding back? That's what I don't understand. If it was an R rate, like this movie reads like something they were trying to keep PG-13
Right.
in my eyes. Like every time they could have gone a little bit more, I felt like they held back. Like why half-ass it, especially with that fucking writing team? Like just full steam ahead.
Yeah. You got to go big if you're gonna do that shit, and just fucking go for it. Just go for it. Go for it. You
Yeah.
got to go for it, right?
All right.
But
I think we've talked enough about this bummer of a film.
it's such a bummer. I'm so disappointed. And dude, I even tried again after I read what Ruben was saying, and other people also, parroted that
Same.
sentiment. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I just went into it with the wrong mindset. So I'm going to watch it again and try and watch through that. And it almost made me more angry watching it like that. Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
well, oh my God, this scene, they could have done this and that would have fucking made the scene a lot more hilarious
totally.
or just ridiculous. But they
Yeah,
didn't.
I watched maybe the first 15 or 20 minutes the second time. And right about the point I tapped out the first time, I tapped out the second time and was like, nope, still exactly the same.
Yeah.
And
It's a
like,
bummer.
I don't know what they're trying to do.
Hollywood has given up. They're just like, fuck it. People will just buy the shit. And again,
Yeah.
everyone has different opinions and everything. And
No, I mean, I'm glad that some people love this movie.
yeah,
Great. I'm glad they're not, hopefully they won't lose money on it. Cool. And hopefully, if they do this next, it sounds like they're doing the next one, they make it better.
I hope they make it better. And well, that's the thing about one of the things that from the people that loved it, they're like, it's just fun. And there's just a fun kill movie. And I'm like, but the kills weren't even that great. Like,
No, that's the thing. I am okay with fun movies.
yeah,
I am totally okay with bad acting. Some of my favorite movies are like that. This
Yep.
was not that.
I mean,
they were overthinking it and trying to do more, and it just was.
I did enjoy the when the firemen got to the house, like that whole scene. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
But
And I think
after
those were
that-
real firemen too,
yeah.
which was kind of cool.
Yep. Like I said, this movie had so many cool things that they just.
Can we get a do-over? If anyone has to do with this movie is listening, can we just get a do-over?
Seriously.
I won't hold it against you. Just remake
Yeah.
this. It's fine.
Remake
We'll
it
forget it
and
ever
either
happened.
go either go one way or the other with it. Don't try and
Yeah.
do the thing. Just one way or the other.
Just don't try to do whatever you just did.
Exactly.
Do anything other than that. You
Ugh.
pick. Any
Ugh,
number of ways you can go, but not this one.
man. Well, that
And
being
the poor
said,
children, that this will be their first Halloween film and they might like it. They just may have created a new generation of people who are gonna like
they probably
shitbags
did.
like that.
Probably did. Like, yeah, my favorite
And then they're
film
thinking
of all
like,
time.
yeah, I'm just like those cool people who like the old Halloween movies. No.
No,
Go watch those kids.
no.
Not the
Listen, you little
same.
fuckers.
Back in my day.
Yep. And on that note, all right, let's
Oh, my back hurts. Yeah, it's bedtime. It's a brisk
let's
8:12.
this fucking movie the ratings of the cute zombie shaped candy corns. You want to go?
I'm giving it a half of a candy corn.
Oh,
Because of the potential and the cast
Yeah.
they had and the money they had, that it is not a good movie. It's just not.
yeah,
I'm not watching it again. Ever.
yeah.
So
I won't watch it again either, but my score is going to be a little higher. I'm going to give it a 1.5 cute zombie shapy candy corns, just because there were some good things, and I'm just trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. But I think the things that were done well, and it's a lot of it's just that first scene, and you know what? 0.5 of that is that first scene with the firemen and all that. The one
Mhm.
is for Big John and Little John.
I loved them, but
Not enough.
I can't.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's
No.
when I think back about that movie, and I've watched it
No,
twice.
that just makes me more mad because they
Right?
could have done more.
They totally could have. They should have given them their own movie
Yeah.
and have them fucking fight off Michael Myers and have Danny
Yep.
McBride write it.
Yep.
And then
Yeah, it just seals
he
the
could
deal
be
of
the
why
fucking
I'm
shape.
giving this 0.5 because they missed the mark so much with the talent they had.
So yeah, if anyone out there who made this movie is listening, which I know they are, right? Because why wouldn't they be?
Totally. Yeah.
Or anyone else that can make this movie, I say remake it, or just make they remake it with Dan. You know what? I'm going to speak directly to fucking Danny McBride. Remake this
Yeah,
movie
motherfucker.
with Big John and Little John and have them just fight Michael Myers. And you, Danny McBride, be Michael Myers. And have that be the fucking movie. That's got to be gold. Or have fucking, Goggins be the fucking Michael Myers or something. Somebody, I don't know. Just get that whole team and redo this movie and it'll be great. But
Awesome.
yeah. So on that this downer of a movie.
Yeah, talking about a downer, my husband just texted me that the takeout order that I ordered is here, but he does not think he said he's going to venture a guess that what I ordered is not actually what arrived. So I can't wait till this is over so I can go see what food is in my kitchen.
2021 people. That's how it's going. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah,
So-
mystery dinner.
From crossing the streams, maiden voyage for Oobzilla.
We promised to do it again with something that is a little more fun that we like
Yeah.
more. I
Yeah,
swear.
I just
I'm
wanted
not
to
trying to be such a bummer. But
shit on this movie because it upset me, disappointed me. So I needed
Yeah.
to do it.
yeah,
So-
it was fucking bad.
On that note, everybody, this is Monster
Happy
Candy Podcast.
Halloween. Happy
Halloween.
and hopefully Ian and I will have a lovely Halloween, and when you're listening to this, we will have done all the fun spooky things and gotten back in the spirit.
Well, hello,
Yeah,
Mr.
we'll see.
Fancy Pants.
I need a Halloween exorcism.
Give me some sugar, baby.
All right, everybody.
Fairy. Send help. Send
See
help.
ya.
looks that big old storm right square in the eye and he says, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Your move, creep.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.